You know who's not so happy? I'm happy. Michelle Obama, you guys. You know, she's got this podcast now. I don't know why. I mean, I guess she's trying to strike out on her own and be independent. She was producing, right, some movies for a little while. But that was all with Barack. Now she's doing something all on her own, albeit with her brother. A podcast that literally no one watches. In fact, maybe the only time anybody watches it is when we play a clip or two. But I'm going to do it anyway because it's just sort of funny to see. This is one unhappy woman. I mean, this is one miserable unhappy woman. I'm like, lady, you know, have you ever heard a glass half full? There's a fundamental difference, I got to tell you, between her and, say, Donald Trump. He's glass half full all the time. He always sees the positive in everything, right? It's a great way to be. It's a fabulous way to be. When I was a little girl, my dad would say to me, he'd take the milk out and pour it, and he'd say, okay, Trish, tell me, is that half full or half empty? And I said, half full. And he said, bingo, right? Like, that's the way to look at life. If you've got your health, you got your family, you got everything, right? How could this woman be sitting there complaining? She's got plenty of money. She's got a husband, I guess, sort of. I mean, unless you believe the Jennifer Aniston rumors or other rumors. And she has 2 children that are in good health. What does she have to complain about? The former First Lady of the United States, who is one miserable you-know-what. Watch.
We don't articulate as Black women our pain because it's almost like nobody ever gave us permission to do that.
And does anyone care?
Yeah, there's that.
Will they care?
If we knew, I think we would care. If we knew.
Mm-hmm.
If we knew.
Or, you know, yeah, and we have to ask ourselves, the men in our lives is, you know, why wait to be asked?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it seems like what we go through is pretty obvious. I mean, maybe we're not complaining, but we're actually living life out loud, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know.
She just wants to complain and go, oh, but I'm not complaining enough. You haven't heard me, and it's because I'm a Black woman. I don't get heard. Oh, and her brother there's like, well, you guys got to speak up. You got to tell us more about what's going on. No, we just do our thing, and we're miserable doing it. I'm like, wow. Okay, so that, by the way, was the reason why. This is a continuation of her. She's got like a show once a week, so we're showing you a clip. But that's a continuation of her whole like woe is me theme. Don't forget, what was it, last week or the week before? She said, oh, I didn't go to the inauguration because I just decided I needed to prioritize myself. To which, you know, my colleague over at 76 Research, Rob, he saw that. He was like, yeah, you know, I'm going to tell my wife and kids I'm not taking out the garbage tonight because I got to prioritize myself, right? Like, there's just things you do in life. Hello, Michelle. You were the First Lady of the United States of America for 8 years. Okay, you can do your equivalent of taking out the garbage, meaning you can show up at the inauguration. But here, I'll make this one better. Michelle, Jimmy Carter's funeral. You still haven't explained that one. You just had to take care of yourself too. I remember for that, she said she was on an extended vacation in Hawaii. You're on an extended vacation. A former president of the United States of America, who, by the way, like, I didn't love his policies. I think he was a disaster for our economy. I think the nation agreed with that. That's why we shuttled in Reagan, thank goodness. But you're a Democrat. Your husband was president for 8 years. You don't really have a choice on that one. I'm sorry. Like, this is kind of a duty. This is what you do, all right? You don't say, I'm away on an extended vacation. I'm not going to show up for Jimmy Carter's funeral. Everybody else was there. Melania Trump was there. And yet, Michelle's like, you know, I just don't feel like it. I got to prioritize me today. Like, I'm the be-all, end-all because I'm not happy enough. I'll tell you what. This lady hates her husband. And she hates her life. And she's glass half empty all the time. So, Michelle, we can't help you. No one can help you. Your husband can't help you. Your kids can't help you. No amount of money can help you. No, because you're fundamentally a miserable person. Now, If you actually had like a chemical imbalance, that's an entirely different thing, right? You may need medical help, and I urge you to get that help. But in this case, I think this is just one miserable person who looks at the world as though, she's not getting her fair share. I mean, she's got her fair share financially, more than enough. But it's always like me, 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 me. I'm just not happy. Well, if you're not happy, no one's going to be able to do that for you other than you, Michelle. Okay? You got to take some ownership here. Instead of telling everybody it's somebody else's fault and, now it's society's fault because, as a black woman, we don't prioritize ourselves enough. She's really jumped the shark. I don't know why she has a podcast. I don't know why she has anything. I don't know why anyone cares, but I think it's important. It's important to remember the craziness that's out there and the sense of entitlement that is out there. So in a new show, she's talking about how expensive it was to live in the White House, how rough it was because, they'd been campaigning for a couple of years. They didn't have much income. And now they expected them to pay for things like their food. Listen to her and keep in the back of your head what Donald Trump has done. He said he's not taking a salary yet again.
Because it's expensive to live in the White House. As many people don't know. I mean, much is not covered. You're paying for every bit of food that you eat. You're not paying for housing and the staff in it, but everything, even travel. If you're not traveling with the president, if your kids are coming on a Bright Star, which is the First Lady's plane, we had to pay for their travel to be on the plane. It is an expensive proposition, and you're running for 2 years and not earning an income.
Gosh, that must have been rough. Really, really, really rough. I really feel for you. You should have spoken up then. Instead of being passive aggressive and deciding not to go to Jimmy Carter's funeral. My gosh. Again, just remember, guys, Donald Trump, who, if Letitia James gets her way, is going to owe over $500 million to the state of New York. I have a feeling she won't. But he's actually giving up his salary. He's not taking a salary as president of the United States. Think about that. That's $400K that he's not getting. She wanted every single dime of that, believe me, and then some. So 400 times what? 4 years, 1.6. Second go around, he just announced this actually on NBC on Meet the Press over the weekend. He's not taking pay again for 4 years. So you're talking about over $3 million that he's giving back to the people. Whereas Michelle's just lamenting everything. Gosh, darn it, honey. We're so sorry that you had to be the first lady. That must have been really tough. And I get it. You hate your husband. You hate your life. You're miserable. You think you can go on to some stupid podcast that nobody watches. Thank you very much. What are we up to? Like 730 some odd thousand. Reminder, everybody, make sure you subscribe, share, like, comment, all that good stuff. I mean, she's nowhere near that on her little YouTube channel. No, I'm not saying that she doesn't get there eventually, but you know what? I will say that. I don't think she'll get there eventually. You know why? Because it's not interesting. Nobody can watch that for an hour or however long it is and be sustained because it's just this woman who's got everything in the world complaining nonstop about how miserable she is and how miserable life is. I'm sorry, we need to have a little bit of more uplifting message than that, or something with a little bit more teeth. She may be taking lessons, shall we say, from one Meghan Markle. Hey, guys, have you looked at the market right now? We've got a market that is trading a little bit lower, I believe, still. No, higher. Forgive me. I'm thinking gold. Gold was a little bit lower today, which is why I bought some. I actually bought into the market a little bit more yesterday. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing where we were and where we are now. Think about that very short period of time. We've got the Dow up about 1% right now, S&P and NASDAQ higher as well. And this is all within the span of what, like 4 weeks or something? It's crazy. You think about pre-Liberation Day, and then you think about where we are right now. We know that Donald Trump is expected to announce something. It's not yet clear what that announcement may be. Some have speculated that it might be related to trade, although I think he's saying, no, that's not the case. It's not going to be a trade-specific deal, although we do know, by the way, very, very good news. Scott Besson is going to be traveling to Switzerland, where he is going to be meeting with the Chinese trade reps. And so, as much as you may not like China, I get it. You know what? That's actually pretty good news, because we want to come to some kind of deal and some kind of sort of completion with China. We need to get something done just to have some clarity for business's sake. But, he does say, Donald Trump is saying that within the next few days, we're going to get something big, something big. So the question is, what is it? He gave us a clue. Let's listen in.
And, I said before in our meeting with the new and very talented Prime Minister of Canada that we have some very big announcement to make. It's not about trade. It's about something else, but it's going to be a truly earth-shattering and positive development for this country and for the people of this country. And that'll take place sometime within the next few days.
All right. Any speculation? What could it be? I think he's doing all kinds of things, and he's moving at a fast and furious speed because he feels a kind of pressure. He feels that this is his destiny in some ways to be there. And I wouldn't disagree with that in light of what has happened, in light of what he went through in Pennsylvania. So he wants to get stuff done. He's a man on a mission.